Joyce Mills, Joyce Mills, Joyce Mills, Joyce Mills, Joyce Mills, Joyce
Joyce Dudley, District Attorney of Santa Barbara, Rebecca Sherrick, President of Aurora University, my own sister, Nancy Crimmy Beggs, and my cousin, Diana Hubbard Collins. I want you to know that I've been dealing with the Kevin Sandals swindle, I guess, pretty much my son's whole life, because this is the legal, my legal standing is perfect, and my invoice, Nancy and Diana and Rebecca and Joyce, my invoice is a perfectly sane amount considering what I did for them and what they did to me, and also what they did to Therese Ann Taylor, Therese Ann Crimmy, Therese Ann Dorton. She is as crazy as Jodi Arias, and I'll stake my reputation on that and everything else on that. That's all I got right now is my reputation. Joyce E. Dudley, I'm giving 10%, I'm tithing my whole self to my alma mater because my Uncle Jim, he died for Aurora College. He gave himself for Aurora College, and he hates what's going on with this fascist country. And I stand for him, and I am a legitimate scholarly spokesman for my Uncle Jim. But I have been dealing with this Teva Sandal swindle psychically since it began. And it's only after Dolly and Andy told me about it, and I broke down and cried in front of them and said, how can this be? And Dolly and Andy were taken care of because of my sandal, like Peter Link, who told me I was the greatest employee he'd ever known in his whole life, and all the other people who got rich on my sandal. Evan Bishop, who claimed he was my best friend, who ended up swindling me and going along with all of Carlos Lochter's bad vibing me, even though Forrest, I did all of that great publication work after you called me back to QAD. And I'll bet you anything, Carl was pissed that you did that. He was pissed to see me because, you know, they always knew what they had done to me. And Pam, she felt guilty enough that she gave Tracy whatever royalties they were going to give us. She gave them to Tracy, and that's why Tracy suddenly divorced me, because she got a $100,000 raise. She had to keep that for herself, and then she had to pretend it was because I was a bad guy. And she got this therapist, Karen Brown. Wait until I tell Karen Brown on video what Tracy was up to, because Tracy was just up to no good. She just was stabbing me in the back, taking my 4-year-old child away from me. This is the worst calamity that could ever possibly have come to a person like me, who's never stolen a thing in his life, except, I do admit, when I was 5 or 6, I was in Hall's Market, and somebody else had ripped open a big family-sized package of M&Ms, and I was reaching toward a yellow M&M, and that was it. The good angel said, don't do that. And I've never stolen anything ever since then, except a couple of silly, notable exceptions, which I will gladly admit. Not anything of any value. W.C. Fields, sorry about that. W.C. Fields, very important in this whole thing. Angels rescuing me. Well, I got to admit it, November 29th, tomorrow, is the anniversary. November 29th, 2006. Angels came, took me out of my bed in Ventura, deposited me on a road in what I call Death Valley, just a straight road in the middle of a desert, lined with telephone poles, and somehow I got the message from them that that was my life, that straight road. And that is kind of what I feel like, because I am that M&M kid. I am a kid who is very sincere, and my brother really was the brother that he was, and my sister really was the sister that she was, and my mom and dad were the uncaring people that they were. And Bill Sardi, look him up on the internet, everybody, really just helped destroy my childhood. So it all came together. But the angels, at least temporarily, they answered my prayer exactly. And the funniest W.C. Fields thing happened at the end of that year. That was 2006, when at the beginning of the year I vowed that if I couldn't wake up in the morning and just want to live like a normal person does, because I was robbed of that. And I said, if you don't do that for me, whoever, that I know exists because of Desperado, I could never be the same after Desperado, nor should Tracy. I'll explain, I'm going to do a video for you, Joyce Dudley, District Attorney, about Desperado, and when she died at Foothill Veterinary Hospital in Pasadena. But anyway, the angels waited until, I had a deadline of Christmas Day, 2006, exactly 60 years to the day after W.C. Fields died in Pasadena, in a cottage designed by Ernest Crimmy. And I didn't find out that my grandpa had designed W.C. Fields' cottage that he died in at Los Encinas Hospital until Christmas Day 2006, when my dad finally told me that Grandpa was the architect that did Los Encinas. He had never told me that in my life, and I am very familiar with the fact that W.C. Fields gave up his mansion on DeMille, where I stole the one thing that I ever stole in my life. Actually, there's two other things. A broken tile. It's in the other room. I could show it to you at the end of this. Worthless, hopefully. But W.C. Fields gave up that mansion, which I would like to buy if I get this invoice paid, and lived for the last 6 months of his life in a cottage he loved in Pasadena, a cottage designed by Ernest Crimmy. I did not find out about that. And there's more to this story than I'm letting on right now. W.C. Fields, very important part of this story. And he died on Christmas Day, 1946, in that cottage in Pasadena, where Carlotta would spray the roof with water because W.C. liked the sound of rain on the roof. And I'm telling you that angels saving me, November 29, 2006, on purpose, was for this. So I could come back, so to speak, and do this website, among other things. Do the opera. I didn't know it was going to be an opera at the time, for sure. It wasn't until a couple other things happened, like the television show Cash Cab, my very favorite game show, always was, because it's the only game show in history where the people didn't know they were going to be on a game show until they opened the door of a cab and they were on a game show. Every other game show people knew, people came to be on a game show. This one, I love Cash Cab, and it's got more psychic connections to the story of the Teva Sandal, my finding out, and my doing this website. And I thank you My sister, I thank you. My cousin, and I thank you. President of Aurora University, Rebecca, and I thank you. District Attorney of Santa Barbara, I hope to see you soon. District Attorney Joyce Dudley, and I hope that when you die, many, 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 many years from now, you can look back and say, I think Gene Crimmy was one of the most decent people I ever met. I promise you, I am what's known as a stand-up guy, and I'm telling the truth about everything here. And I'm at my wit's end, but I'm also at my opera's beginning.
Joyce man. Joyce man.
And here's the brick. Well, it's a tile that I stole from the home of W.C. Fields on DeMille Drive in Hollywood. I keep it in a place of honor. I've kept it with me ever since that day in the 1970s. Maybe 79, probably, 1979. I'd like to make up for it. The one thing I've stolen, well, there's two others possibly, also worth about that much. I'd like to make up for it by buying the mansion on DeMille Drive. I think it last sold for maybe $7 million. Who knows what's going to happen with the economy, but if I had $40 million, I'd probably consider it. Of course, that doesn't have to sell it to me, but I do love my W.C. Fields. Not to mention this guy. The least listened to man in the world. La la la, he's the least listened to, most insufferable. Never thought about, but he's unfuckable. He's not the first. He's just got knocked worse. The least listened to man